Today I want to ask you a question, and it's sort of a hard question to answer. How's your heart? How is it really? You see, we often overlook this question in our lives. But biblically speaking, our heart can only be in two states. It can be in peace, or it can be in rebellion. So biblically, being in peace isn't just this idea of being still and being calm. It's this idea of being in wholeness as well. But that means that rebellion has to be something different than that. I want to make it really clear right off the bat, rebellion is not the same as in question. It's perfectly fine to question what's going on. God actually is okay with that. It's part of us growing and learning. But rebellion, that's dangerous. Rebellion is described and defined as a systematic attack and dismantling of a government or a ruler. So how does that work in our hearts? Well, the first question we have to ask is, who rules our hearts? The simple answer to that is God. He created us. He knows our hearts more intimately than we do. He knows all the things around it, what makes it work, how it actually is. So what does it look like then to have a heart of rebellion? If you read throughout Hebrews, there's a lot of references back to the older text, especially in this particular part of the passage. It's actually a crash course pretty much through the entirety of the Torah. So I went back and looked there. And in Numbers, we have a really interesting scenario that happens. It happens in Numbers 13 and 14. So God has promised his people the promised land. And he tells them to go send some spies to check it out, to see if the land will be good for them. So the Israelites send 12 spies. All 12 come back and they give a report. 2 of them give a favorable report. The rest of them say, there's giants in that land. It's not good. The next chapter literally says that the Israelites' hearts went into rebellion. The consequence of that was that whole generation died. Well, actually, that's not 100% true. The consequence of that was the whole generation died except for the 2 scouts who gave back the promising report. You see, their hearts were in peace. Not that they weren't concerned about what was on the other side, but they knew that God would make his promise whole. So my question to you today is, do you want to be like the rest of the Israelites in a heart of rebellion and be trapped outside of the promised land? Or do you want to be like those 2 spies and enter the promised land?